My daughter, a new threat comes to our shores, and I must call you home. Restore what has been broken. Unite old enemies. Forge new bonds. You are a hero, but you can be more. You can be a leader. You are Wonder Woman.
Alrighty, good morning or wherever you watch this video. Let's just cut right to the chase. As you saw or see, depending on how I edit the video, the most exciting thing in my life well, not the most exciting thing, but we'll get to the point. Wonder Woman is getting her own game. Now, I wish I could have made a reaction video because I was literally screaming like a child when I saw this. I'm not gonna lie. This is one of those things that I've been waiting for my entire life and I thought was never, ever going to happen. The big three. How can DC promote Superman, Batman, and Wonder Woman as the big three, the Trinity, and not do anything with Wonder Woman? Well, let me tell you, because she is kind of hard to write, at least from my point of view. So I guess that made her least popular than Superman and Batman, especially Batman. God, how many Batman projects can you have? But, Wonder Woman is both a peacemaker and a war bringer. She's an Amazon warrior and someone with a loving heart. So that's very hard to balance a good person and someone that will chop your head off, because she's done that before, snap necks and all that good jazz. And it's hard to balance that in the same person, and I'm guessing that's why it took so freaking long for them to finally make a Wonder Woman video game. Now, I'm extremely excited. I'm going to go all in, because I've waited my whole life for this. I'm going to go all in. If they have a deluxe pack or a mega pack or whatever the best pack of the game is, I'm getting it. If I have to save up for a PS5 or an Xbox, I will get them just to play this game. That's just the type of person that I am. Like I said, I've been waiting my whole life for this. Now, like I said, I'm late. It's been days since the announcement happened, but I want to do something different for my channel and have a discussion. I don't know how popular this video is going to be, but whatever. But I want to discuss some of the things that I would love to see in the game. Some characters I would like to see, some cameos. Just have a different discussion than I usually have when it comes to, well, my channel, basically. So I'm going to go ahead and get started. I'm going to end this video right here. Like the Wonder Woman logo. It's definitely based off of the Gal Gadot Wonder Woman, which really popularized the character. Now, this is just a little, I'll go through them. Alright. This picture is hella blurry. But anyway, some of the things... Well, let me just get started with this main thing. The villain. Now, the villain, as we all know, and despite the fact that Batman is trying to steal her, Cheetah, Barbara Ann Minerva, is her primary villain. Her arch enemy. Her Joker to her Batman, her Lex Luthor to Superman. That is her villain. Now, it depends on which version you're speaking of. And I'm not talking about the Golden Age, like different characters that were Cheetah. I'm talking about the newest incarnation where Barbara Ann Minerva was an archaeologist, friends with Diana, but turned evil because of jealousy, or was sacrificed by a earthly evil deity like Ertzkataga? I think that's how you pronounce his name. It is hard to say. So Or in the pre-New 52, she was jealous of Wonder Woman, wanted her lasso, do anything to get it, gave herself to an evil deity, but since she wasn't a virgin, hint, hint, she turned into the cheetah instead of a powerful, well, maiden, so to speak. Now, before I continue, let me just make sure I say this. I am nowhere near an expert. There are so many things that I don't know, and so many things that I haven't read yet. And I'm going to get copyright claimed for this video. I'm just going to let you know that right now, but hold on. Yeah, you're probably hearing the Wonder Woman theme in the background. But like I said, I know I'm gonna get copyright claim just for playing the video. But anyway, Cheetah I definitely want as a villain in the game. But if we go back to the video, you hear Hippolyta, who is her mother, say you need to forge new bonds, work with um, past enemies, something along those lines. And I don't think she's gonna be like majorly using someone like Cheetah as a villain. No, they'll fight definitely. But I'm gonna get to the main villain. But the reason why I'm bringing up Cheetah first is because I personally don't want to see Cheetah as the main villain, especially how the last Wonder Woman movies went. We're not gonna discuss that. Um, Only because she's fast. Don't get me wrong. Cheetah is really good. She's able to injure Wonder Woman, but she's not really at Diana's level, so to speak. Like, yes, due to her training with the Reverse Flash or whatever you want to call him, Doctor Zoom, she can tap into the negative Speed Force, but that was pre 52, so I don't know how accurate that is now. But anyway, she's not main villain material in my opinion, which brings me to another one who is main villain material, and that's Aries, the God of War. Now, we've seen him in the first Wonder Woman movie, all fine and dandy. I honestly wouldn't want to see him as the main villain himself. A little bit of backstory, depending on the version of it. He is either based on Greek mythology, the father of Hippolyta, which would make Diana his granddaughter, I suppose, but they never really touched on that too much. But that's just based on actual Greek mythology. Now, in the New 52, which I find even more interesting, is that he trained Diana as she was growing up. I think they retconned that because of DC Rebirth, but I always thought that was fascinating. To have one of her main villains, her trainer, her father figure, so to speak. But I honestly wouldn't really want him as a villain either. Yes, he's one of the type of people that would be on her level to fight as a main villain, but we've seen it. We've seen it. Which leads me to who I really think should be the main villain. That's Cersei. No, this is not Game of Thrones. This is not incest. No, this is the actual goddess from Greek mythology, Cersei. She had a thing about turning men into animals. She has a lot of history in the comics with Diana. Now I'm not, like I said, I'm not an expert. I'm not a big history buff on that history between them two. All I know is recent comics, the Mark of Hecate, I believe, showed up on Diana. She went to Cersei for help. Cersei kind of acts like a neutral party, will do whatever she can to benefit herself. I'm putting her, in my opinion, as the main villain because magic. She's powerful, you know. She can definitely be on Diana's level, and we don't have enough of her in media. We've seen her in the DC animated universe. What, one episode of Justice League Unlimited, and that's about it. Like, I would like to see more personally. And again, I'm not an expert. I don't know everything, but I really think that she would be the best villain. She even at one point caused the Amazon attack storyline. Well, was one of the main parts of it by reviving Wonder Woman's then dead mother, Hippolyta, and tricked her into attacking the United States. And it was a brutal thing. The story didn't make much sense, I'll admit, but it was very brutal. Diana had to make some decisions, but master manipulator, goddess of magic, and it definitely. Excuse me. Now, if this spans, if this spans across time, like Wonder Woman's pretty much immortal. If it spans across time, Cersei would be perfect for that too, because she's immortal herself. Um, by the way, don't tease me about my editing. Like, I'm not. I'm using a screen recorder. So I'm not a big editor person. But anyway, she's immortal too, so she could fight her across time and space. Now, speaking of time and space, that leads me to another one of villains. Please, YouTube, dude, I know you're probably going to demonetize me or copyright claim me because of the music. As a matter of fact, I'm just going to stop the music now, which you probably can't even hear to begin with, and the video that I played in the beginning. But please don't kick my video off for showing this. As a matter of fact, I should blur it out, but I don't know how to do that. But anyway, this is a little-known villain, Baroness Paula von Gunther, one of Wonder Woman's first villains, because of the fact that she was really originally created for World War II. Obviously, as you can see in the symbol on her arm, which I'm not going to say, she's a bad guy. Well, I think Wonder Woman finally reformed her and made her an Amazon, but that depends. Now, I don't know too much about her, but I'm just saying, as a cameo, as a side villain, she would be decent. She's a regular human, to my knowledge, but I think she's a techie. But I could be wrong. I'm just saying, she doesn't. Wonder Woman's rogues gallery is not too known, so exposing as much as you can would be fantastic. Speaking of even more known, you already seen Doctor Poison in the Wonder Woman movie, so I think a little cameo from her would be great. Expert in poisons. And then I just remembered another character, but I don't have a picture of her. Her name was Dr. Cyber. But that could work as well. Another picture of Dr. Poison. I think she was a man at first. Was she a man in the original comics? And I just remember Dr. Psycho too. Ain't that something? I'm remembering all these. Look, Poison, Psycho, and Cyber, all doctors by the way, all hate Wonder Woman for various reasons. Dr. Psycho is like a very small man. You will know him from the Harley Quinn animated series. He hates women. I don't know why. But Wonder Woman villain. Now those three I'm saying they're not main villain esque. Just saying that as a side character that you want to like bring in, so to speak. So I would say Cyber, Dr. Poison, Dr. Psycho would be perfect for that. For a bigger impact, for another villain would be Giganta. Her history is where she was at one point she was a gorilla in the body of a human. It's a little stupid, but I don't know. I'm not a history buff sometimes, but more exposure, more the better. And at one point, she even dated the Atom. I guess she was before the New 52. She was leaning towards um, anti-hero status, and I think she's leaning towards more of that in Rebirth, but I could be wrong. Now, she obviously can grow up to the size of a skyscraper. As a matter of fact, that's Donna Troy on her chest. So I'll get into Donna Troy later, but Yeah, she could be a challenge, and you're a small person, as you can see. Um, no, that's not a boob joke. I'm showing you Donna. Um, it'll be a challenge to fight someone at that size. Speaking of the gameplay, since they're made by Monolith, you're gonna work like the Lord of the Rings games, Shadow of Mordor, and I actually looked into that game because I was like, okay, I never played it, and it looks good. It looks like something that Wonder Woman would do. She's a sword wielder and stuff like that, um, and it works. Looks like it'll work. It just needs really good writing, you know. And I pray that it is great writing. But anyway, back to her villainous Giganta would be one of those things that'll be a challenge. She's a giant woman, for goodness sake. I can show the picture for Palta, which I will go into. I think I covered the villain. Yeah, but I want to reiterate. I want the main villain to be Cersei. I think that would more exposure for Cersei be great, and she's at that magic level that could go and be an actual threat to Wonder Woman. Now, on to something else. Cameos, as far as side characters are concerned. Now, we already know the Queen, Hippolyta, since she's speaking. And by the way, they're using the Gal Gadot accent, which would be great because I kind of wanted Susan Eisenberg to play her again, but when I heard the accent, I was like, okay, probably not Susan Eisenberg, which I'm fine with. I like the accent because you're from ancient Greece, you know? So we're obviously gonna get Hippolyta since we heard her. If in case y'all don't recognize, you know, we might have her blonde, but in the comics she's also been a person with black hair. Now I'm leaning towards the fact that they may go with the whole she had an affair with Zeus angle because originally Wonder Woman was made of clay, made by her mother, brought to life by the gods. But recent stories after the New 52 and what's sticking right now is that Diana is the daughter of Zeus, and that's fine. I guess over time I'm okay with it. At first I was not okay with it because Zeus has so many damn children. I was like, all right, I'll deal with it. Back to the rest of the cameos. Donna frickin' Troy is someone who I would like to see. Now, let me before I continue. I would love for other playable characters, but right now this is Diana's first game. It needs to be the focus on her. So as a cameo, I would love for her to have Donna Troy, which was her sister. Okay. Now, according to the trailer, from what it sounded like, Hippolyta, you heard her say she's calling Diana back home. That implies that she has been in man's world for a good amount of time and forging new bonds or work with enemies. Yeah, she's been in Wonder Woman for a while. So that would imply that maybe Donna is here. Now, Donna's history is hella complicated. Like, hella complicated. Also, she's played by Connor Leslie in the Titans show. Her backstory is hella complicated, so I'm gonna stick to the one that I would personally like to see that I grew to love. In the New 52, Wonder Woman was considered someone not worthy of being queen of the Amazons after Hippolyta's quote unquote death. So some Amazons use magic to bring Donna into the world. And Donna was basically a clone of Diana. And so she led a war against the other Amazons she didn't deem worthy. And recently, Diana discovered that Amazons had sons that they gave to Hephaestus. That's a whole nother topic that involves some themes that I'd rather not say. Long story short, she fought Donna, but Donna was later redeemed. Now, how DC Rebirth has it, it's a whole thing. I'm not an expert on that. But Yeah, having her show up in the story would be fantastic for more exposure for her as well. Which also leads me to the first Wonder Girl. Wow, that picture's horrible. Cassandra Sandsmark. I'll use this one instead. Who was Wonder Girl, who was the original daughter of Zeus, but now I think niece of Wonder Woman. It's complicated. Um, she was also trained by Aries as well at one point. So, she'd be nice, and I'm still bitter at the fact that Young Justice chose Miss Martian to be Superboy's girlfriend when it was actually Wonder Girl, but we're gonna leave that alone. Yes, I'm still hella bitter. So a cameo from Cassie Sandsmark would be great. You know, in the Arkham games, Batman was solo until like the second or third. So I think that'll be fine. Make a cameo. You don't have to be playable. Maybe DLC. We'll see. But at the same level as the fact that Nightwing, Robin, Red Hood, Batgirl were all playable. Hell, even Harley was playable at one point, which brings me back to something. Let Cheetah be playable, since y'all let Harley be playable. Anyway, more importantly than Cheetah, this woman right here, Artemis, the Wonder Woman of the Dark Trio. Now, in case y'all don't know, in recent comics, they made basically a Dark Trinity made of Red Hood, Bizarro, and Artemis. Artemis is Amazon who was cast out. Well, her tribe was cast out by the Themyscirian Amazons, and they were later known as the Bana Mandal Amazons in Egypt. Quote the Egypt look. Um, she is a brutal warrior, and I always wanted her to be playable. I wanted her to be a skin for Wonder Woman in the Injustice games, and I think that the dynamic between them is interesting. She's not as what's the word nice as Diana is. She can be brutal at times, and even took up the mantle of Wonder Woman at one point. But that's a whole nother thing. But yeah, Artemis would be a great cameo as well. Hell, you can even have her as a villain at first, and then an ally. That would be great too, because Diana and Artemis's dynamic is one where she could possibly act as a villain at first. Also, an important character who's making a comeback in the comics that I would like to see as a cameo would be Nubia, who was basically in the original comics. Oh my god, this is crazy. Diana, she was made out of clay, was made out of light clay, but Hippolyta also made a baby out of dark clay. So she gave up the dark one. Oh my god, that's so stupid when you say it out loud. Oh my god. But Nubia is Black Wonder Woman, basically. She's much more than that, obviously, but she would make a good cameo as well, I suppose. You know, just bringing in that Wonder Woman lore is something that is really important, in my opinion. So to have all these characters at least show up at some capacity could be fantastic, in my opinion. That's just my opinion. I missed the picture. There you go. She's currently in the comments right now. Yeah, I think I covered everyone. Again, main villain, I would want to see Cersei. I don't want to see Ares because we've seen that a lot in her very first animated movie. That was Ares. In her first live action movie, that was Ares. Time for new blood. He is just as powerful. Yeah, just my opinion. Anyway, So again, I am hella excited for the Wonder Woman game, and all the screen shifting I did this video. I don't know how it's gonna end up, so hopefully it'll be good. But I can't wait, and I hope that they will let them make Cersei the main villain. And I would hope that I really hope this game is successful because we're so tired of hearing the whole female-led aesthetic is not successful. The first Wonder Woman movie proved that wrong, even though the third act was hit or miss. Um, there is no amount of words that can just say my happiness or ecstaticness of the fact that this is a real thing happening. And I can't wait to see it, and I can't wait to watch it, and I am gonna get copyright claim for this, obviously, but I guess it's worth it because I cannot just go on not sharing my thoughts on this. Anyway, like, share, and subscribe. I hope some people will agree with me, and have a good one. And I really hope this video worked out well because I never did this before. So have a good one.